Yeah, relationships are tricky. You know, the deeper they go, I think.
Quinn Allman, former guitarist and founding member of the band The Used, has released a book called A Book Full of Sharp Objects. Allman has alluded to abuse that he suffered during his time with The Used. Back in June of this year, in a since-deleted Instagram post, Allman broke his silence about his 15-year career in the band The Used. Allman writes, "I have been silent for so long and I can't live like this anymore. For 15 years I was abused and traumatized, physically, mentally, and other ways, at the hands of one person. While I put on a brave face for the cameras, the reality behind the scenes was a living nightmare. This person had a position of control over me and my musical career and wielded their control by threatening to replace me if I ever spoke out. Yes, you know who I'm talking about. And to all those who turned a blind eye and still enable this horror, f*** you. I don't care anymore. This is the truth. The truth is coming out. All of it. Not just a little bit. Hashtag a book full of sharp objects." Days later, Quinn Allman took to his Instagram to follow up this post, thanking fans for the support that he had received. "The amount of love and support I've received in the last 72 hours has been overwhelming and deeply moving. Thank you all so much. I've come to realize that staying silent for so long was the hardest part. I hope that time would heal my pain and that I could avoid saying anything about anyone. However, this approach has only eroded my self-worth and led me into a deep depression, confusion, and anxiety about what would happen if I spoke out. Now that I have broken my silence, I feel free to move on. I want everyone to be happy, to thrive, and to speak their truth without fear. It's time for me to do the same. Thank you for standing by me." Following this, Allman launched a Kickstarter in October for A Book of Sharp Objects. In the Kickstarter, he writes, "Hello world, my name is Quinn Allman and I'm very pleased to share my latest project with you. The project combines three of my greatest passions, music, art, and storytelling. I'm launching this Kickstarter to fund the production of a memoir and art book titled A Book Full of Sharp Objects, as well as my debut music EP on a cassette called I Digress." Here's a clip from Allman's Kickstarter campaign.
It's really the story of me, my life, how music saved me and took me around the world, and how fame and addiction almost took that all away from me, and how I was able to overcome that and put myself first. I realized making it that it was something that I think a lot of people can resonate with, when everything seems to be fine from the outside in, but really it's not. So it means a lot to me, and I'm really proud to be able to share it with the world. Alongside the book, I have my first solo EP as well, which is I Digress on tape cassette, which, as I'll mention in the book, I recorded everything I ever did on tape cassettes. It was my lifeline to create and to be able to share music. This was before the internet, you know. So passing out tapes and that was vital to you know, my musical journey, and I thought that was a cool way to honor that. Every book and cassette will be hand signed and numbered, and I will as well include everyone's name in the book with a personal thank you. This will be a one-time pressing as well, so this will be a very special you know, collectible, you know, edition of this. And yeah, I need your help to basically get this printed and pressed and shipped. That's really all I need to get it across the finish line at this point.
The project was fully funded and fans are beginning to receive their books. At this time, it is believed that his book was a one-time pressing of 300 copies, dedicated only to the fans that supported his Kickstarter campaign. At this time, Quinn Allman has not made it clear whether or not there will be another pressing of A Book of Sharp Objects. With the book release, Quinn released his first solo music under his own name, a 3-song EP called I Digress. You're currently seeing clips from the music video for the song Porcelain on the screen right now. On the Used subreddit community, one fan summarized the contents of the book. So if for some reason you don't want to hear spoilers right now, this is the time to tune out. In the comment, they write, "From what I've read, Bert was a handful since day one. Quinn says that he let Bert and his then girlfriend Kate move into his mom's house with him where they lived in Quinn's room. Both Bert and Kate were struggling with addiction issues. Quinn worked day jobs to help his mom pay his bills, while Bert slept all day. Bert starts drinking and smoking pot and starts giving booze and pot to Quinn's younger siblings. Bert would also disappear for periods of time. Quinn, Jeffa, and Brandon considered kicking him out of the band multiple times, but they knew they'd never find a better vocalist and wanted to help him. Later on, Quinn talks about Bert being a full-blown alcoholic, and at shows and movie premieres, Bert would do things like pour beers all over Quinn and burn him with lighters and lit cigarettes in front of groups of people and other bands. Quinn tells a story about Bert breaking into a closed restaurant, and later that night, Quinn and Bert get into a fist fight. By the time Bert gets sober, the relationship is pretty much dead. Bert makes all these rules, like on tour they can only play 2 days in a row, and Bert decided the set list would never be changed. To lessen the strain on his voice, and Quinn gets burnt out and feels like the band is becoming stale. Then the band kicks out Quinn. Apparently, at one point, Bert disappears for 2 weeks in the middle of recording the debut album at John Feldman's studio and then shows up randomly and they just continue on. If you're curious, I'm going to link the Reddit thread that I pulled this summary from in the description of this video. At this time, the book has only been made available to those that pledged on Quinn Allman's Kickstarter campaign. Current members of the band The Used have not addressed any of Allman's comments. Meanwhile, The Used are currently teasing a tour celebrating the band's 25th anniversary. What did you think of this story? Let me know in the comments below, and stay tuned to Comment Revolt for more updates.